Sony's Madam Web hints at future installments set within the same Marvel universe, though how likely they are depends on multiple factors. Following Sony's Venom, There Be Carnage, and Morbius S.J, Clarkson's 2024 Madam Web introduces an important character from Marvel's Spider-Man lore to Sony's Spider-Man universe. Cassandra Webb is deeply tied to the origin of all Spider-People across the multiverse, and her precognition abilities allow her to play with fate. Due to Madam Web's 2003 setting, the future of a Peter Parker variant may be in the hands of Dakota Johnson's Cassandra Webb. Madam Web never confirms whether the Peter Parker in Cassandra Webb's universe will grow up to be one of the 3 live-action Spider-Men who have already starred in Marvel movies, or whether he will become a relatively familiar Spider-Man at all. What Cassandra Webb's origin story does is reveal how close Ezekiel Sims gets to killing 3 Spider-Women, and how Madam Web accepts her duty as a guardian of fate to prevent it. Since the crux of Madam Web's plot lies on Cassandra's visions, most of the Madam Web cast story take place after the movie ends. Madam Web 2 news and key articles to read. As of Madam Web's February 14, 2024 release, a Madam Web sequel remains unannounced. Sony's Spider-Man universe dominates the 2024 Marvel movie schedule with 2 other releases, August's Kraven the Hunter and November's Venom 3. Depending on how well all 3 Sony movies perform at the box office, the franchise could add at least 1 sequel to these titles in the near future. However, the likelihood of a Madam Web sequel being confirmed anytime soon seems low, as Madam Web opened to a 17% score in Rotten Tomatoes, and its online reception doesn't bode well for an eventual second installment. Will Madam Web 2 actually happen? Apart from its initial reception, there are other factors that point to a Madam Web sequel not happening. For instance, Sony and Marvel Studios will soon shift focus to Spider-Man 4 starring Tom Holland, which will likely take most of Sony's attention away from unproven titles. The MCU recently lowered its yearly output in order to recover from a streak of critical and commercial disappointments. If Sony's Spider-Man universe continues its own negative streak, the franchise will have to follow suit. By the time a Madam Web sequel is due, Sony's plans for its Marvel properties may have already changed. Madam Web 2 cast. Who could return? If Madam Web ever gets a sequel, Dakota Johnson would likely return as Cassandra Webb, now officially a superhero. Of course, Madam Web's biggest sequel setup is Julia Carpenter, Anya Corazon, and Maddie Franklin's eventual transformation into the 3 Spider-Women that Cassandra and Ezekiel Sims saw in their visions. Madam Web 2 would likely bring back all 3 Spider-Women, although Anya actor Isabella Merced's DCU casting as Hawkgirl could reduce her Marvel role. Adam Scott's Ben Parker and Emma Roberts' Mary Parker could also return in a bigger role alongside a new May Parker, and maybe a young Peter Parker. Madam Web 2 story. How the Marvel movie sets up a sequel. Just like Peter Parker is destined to do in every universe, Dakota Johnson's Cassandra Webb has accepted her power and responsibility, taking up the mantle of the titular Madam Web, complete with her own superhero costume and identity. Likewise, Julia Carpenter, Anya Corazon, and Maddie Franklin are now free from Tahar Rahim's precognizant Ezekiel Sims, meaning that they're free to fulfill their destiny to become Spider-Girl, Arana, and Spider-Woman. In a still hypothetical Madam Web sequel, Cassandra Webb could use her precognition abilities to ensure that this time, Peter Parker fulfills his destiny to become Spider-Man. Madam Web established Cassandra Webb's superhero origin, but most of the major events in Cassandra, the Spider-Women, and the Parker's journey are left as a sequel tease. In fact, Madam Web serves as the lead-up to a proper Madam Web and the Spider-Women movie, where all 4 heroes work together as a team of full-fledged superheroes, which is what the first movie's trailer had promised. Only Sony's decision after Madam Web's reviews and box office numbers have painted the full picture will confirm whether a sequel will come.